Welcome, everyone, to today's episode. We're diving into a classic fable called The Clever Rabbit and the Cruel Lion. In this story, animals must outwit a dangerous lion to survive. We'll walk through the plot, unpack useful vocabulary, and draw practical lessons for our own lives.
That's right. This tale is not just entertaining, but it's packed with valuable language and moral insights. Listeners can expect a detailed discussion of the plot, key English expressions, and some thought-provoking connections to everyday situations.
Let's start with the beginning. The story opens with a cruel lion living in the forest, killing and eating many animals each day. What atmosphere does this create for the other animals?
It immediately sets a tone of fear and urgency among the animals. The lion's daily hunting spree threatens their entire community, making them feel helpless and desperate for a solution.
Exactly. The animals are pushed to the brink, which is why they come together to devise a plan. How do you interpret their response?
Their cooperation shows survival instinct and intelligence. Rather than confronting the lion directly, they appeal to his self-interest, hoping to reduce their losses and buy time.
The animals propose a deal. The lion can eat just one animal per day if he stops hunting the rest. What convinces the lion to accept such an arrangement?
The lion sees the benefit of guaranteed food without effort. It's like someone being offered a steady paycheck versus unpredictable freelance work. It appeals to his laziness and desire for control.
That's a great analogy, but the lion adds a threat, promising to kill them all if they break the deal. How does this affect the dynamic?
It keeps the animals under constant pressure. The agreement is both a relief and a new source of anxiety, since one animal must sacrifice itself every day.
Following the deal, each day an animal willingly sacrifices itself. How do you think this impacts the animal community?
It's a bittersweet solution. While the majority are safe for now, there's ongoing fear and sadness as each day means losing a friend or family member. This highlights the difficult choices faced by those under threat.
Would you say this is a sustainable solution?
Not really. It only delays the problem. Eventually, the animals need a plan that ensures the safety of everyone, not just temporary relief.
Eventually, it's the rabbit's turn to face the lion. Unlike the others, the rabbit doesn't go straight to the lion but arrives late. What's the significance of this delay?
The delay is intentional. It frustrates the lion and shifts the power dynamic. The rabbit uses cunning instead of brute force, setting the lion up for a trick.
So, the rabbit isn't just a victim, but an active problem solver. How does this change our perception of him?
It elevates the rabbit from prey to hero. His actions show that intelligence and creativity can overcome brute strength.
Now, let's talk about the rabbit's clever plan. He tells the lion there's another lion in the forest claiming to be king. Why does the lion react so strongly to this news?
It's a blow to the lion's pride. He sees himself as the sole ruler, so the idea of a rival threatens his authority. This emotional reaction makes him vulnerable to manipulation.
It's interesting how pride can cloud judgment. What's your take on the rabbit leading the lion to the well?
It's a brilliant use of psychology. The rabbit exploits the lion's ego, guiding him towards self-destruction without direct confrontation.
When the lion looks into the well, he sees his own reflection, but thinks it's another lion. Why is this misunderstanding so crucial?
It's a classic case of mistaken identity. The lion's inability to recognize his reflection shows both his arrogance and lack of self-awareness, ultimately leading to his doom.
Would you say this is a metaphor for something broader?
Absolutely. It symbolizes how unchecked pride and failure to reflect literally and figurative lie can result in self-destruction.
After the lion jumps into the well, he never comes out. All the animals rejoice at the rabbit's cleverness. How does this resolution impact the forest community?
The animals are liberated from fear. The story ends with a sense of justice and empowerment. It's a celebration of brains over brawn, showing that collective relief is possible with courage and wit.
It's a satisfying conclusion, but I think we can extract even more value by looking at the language used in the story. Let's switch gears and discuss 15 useful words and idioms from the story. First up, cruel. What does it mean, and how can we use it?
Cruel describes someone who causes pain or suffering on purpose. For example, it was cruel of him to tease his little sister. It's often used for both people and actions.
Great. Next, make a deal. How would you explain this phrase?
Make a deal means to reach an agreement, often after negotiation. For instance, the companies made a deal to share resources.
What about buy time?
To buy time means to delay something in order to prepare. For example, she asked a question to buy time before answering.
And outwit?
Outwit means to defeat someone using intelligence rather than force. For example, the detective outwitted the criminals by setting a trap.
How about self-interest?
Self-interest refers to actions done for personal benefit. For instance, he acted out of self-interest, not concern for the group.
Let's tackle steady paycheck as used in your analogy.
Steady paycheck means a regular, reliable salary. Example, she preferred a steady paycheck to the uncertainty of freelancing.
Can you explain brute force?
Brute force means using physical strength rather than intelligence. Like, he solved the problem with brute force instead of thinking it through.
How about set the tone?
Set the tone means to establish the mood of a situation. For example, the teacher's smile set a positive tone for the class.
What's the meaning of sacrifice?
Sacrifice is giving up something valuable for a greater good. Parents often sacrifice their own comfort for their children.
And bittersweet?
Bittersweet describes something that has both positive and negative aspects. For example, graduation was bittersweet because I was happy but sad to leave friends.
Explain problem solver?
Problem solver is a person who finds solutions to difficult issues, like the manager valued employees who were creative problem solvers.
What about cloud judgment?
Cloud judgment means to affect someone's ability to think clearly. Anger can cloud your judgment and lead to mistakes.
Finally, a blow to pride.
A blow to pride means something that damages someone's self-esteem. For example, losing the contest was a blow to her pride.
Let's connect this story to real life. What lessons can we draw for ourselves today?
One key lesson is that intelligence and creativity often solve problems better than force. In our work or relationships, thinking strategically can help us overcome big challenges.
Agreed. It also teaches us not to underestimate others. Even those who seem weak can have hidden strengths. How might you apply this in your own life?
I try to listen more and think outside the box when facing obstacles. The story reminds me to stay calm and look for clever solutions rather than reacting out of fear or anger.
We'd love to hear from you. Can you think of a time when you or someone you know used clever thinking to solve a difficult problem, just like the rabbit in our story?
Share your experiences with us. What problem did you face? What solution did you find? And what did you learn from it? Your stories might inspire other listeners too.
That brings us to the end of today's episode. Thank you for exploring this story and its language with us. Remember, every story adds something new to your English journey.
Keep practicing and don't be afraid to use new words and idioms in your conversations. Learning a language is just like the rabbit's adventure, sometimes challenging, but always rewarding.